Right, because you also need to keep puppet strings available. Maybe you could put up a blocker and keep puppet strings available.
Nah, because I don't have any 2-drops in my hand actually. So we will spend 4. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. I am at 5. Because I'm at 5, I can instead spend 3 and go into Rootwalla.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I will end on that.
So you got everything you need now. Boom. You got a blocker, and you have the means to
Alright, during your main
tap
phase,
my other creature.
I'll spend 2 and tap puppet strings in order to tap the Semite Healer.
Nuts. Okay. Let's do, for 2, I'll cast Mannequin.
Okay.
And that's going to be my turn.
Alright. Awesome. I got another forest. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3, and 4 for a mongrel pack.
Nice.
Alright. And, yeah, with that, I will end.
I see. Very nice, very nice. Draw a card.
During your main phase, I'm going to spend 2 and tap the puppet strings in order to tap your mannequin.
Mannequin is now tapped, and because it is tapped, I cannot tap it for mana. Noted. Let's see here. Because you did tap yourself out there. I am going to end my turn.
Okay. I think... Now let's go for that. I'm going to spend 4 for another mongrel pack.
I see.
And then I'm going to attack you with my mongrel pack.
All right. I'll accept 4 damage.
Okay. And, yeah, I will end.
But first, I'm going to disenchant your puppet strings. Destroy target artifact.
Ooh. Yep, okay.
And that should be game now. Because I count 3 attackers, and you have 2 eligible blockers after I fail to draw into a land once again. Pay 2 for the mannequin, and then swing for 3.
Alright. I'm going to have Rootwalla block the mannequin, and I'm going to have Mongrel Pack block the Semite Healer.
Very nice, sir. The Orzhov is the only unblocked creature, so look who gets the glory.
Bink. Good games, Mr. Cloud.
Good game, Mr. Gerdat.
But seriously, I was a forest short. If I had drawn into a forest during the first 3 freaking turns of that game, I was sitting on rampant growth. I had flailing drakes. I had all my lower end green stuff just available to me. But yeah, I couldn't see, as you noted, I wasn't actually seeing a good portion of my red stuff. I didn't think I was that heavy on red while I was doing building, but apparently I was. Kind of weird. So I do have a couple of cards that I didn't actually get to show off that I would like to. And I still have to talk about one of the interesting things that Green is doing during this set that I'm not running that I think is an interesting concept, but Jesus Christ, it shouldn't. I think white is honestly the place where it ends up being more relevant. So, first of all, I've got my Flowstone Giant, and I've got my Heartwood Treefolk.
Yeah, Treefolk.
Yes.
3/4 Forest Walk.
Ooh, you were running Selenia. If I was actually running any removal spells, Selenia would actually be really cool, but I'm not, because I don't even think Bolt is here, to be perfectly honest.
Let's investigate that real quick. Is Bolt in Tempest? Boil is in Tempest,
yeah, but that's an island card.
Destroy all islands.
Yeah. There are actually a lot of really interesting hate cards all sprinkled throughout Tempest. Green gets a bunch.
Hate.
But the one thing that I actually wanted to talk about for Green was actually a lot of its lower stuff in here, because the set is actually relatively enchantment heavy, is fair play stuff. Like turn player gets 2 additional green mana at the start of their main phase, at their pre-combat main phase. They also have an enchantment that allows them to scry 3 every turn. And I will be perfectly honest, these enchantments are really, really cool, but the scry 3 one doesn't really matter because I don't have draw power, because I have to be in blue for that, and giving my opponent 2 additional mana would have screwed me over this game, because Cloud was struggling for a mana a good portion of the time, whereas I usually was not.
I mean, again, like I think that this has to be among the matches that we've done. This has to be like in the top 3, for the bottom 3, I should say, for luck as far as getting lands goes. Because I was shocked that I was drawing as few mana as I was.
Hey, that's a 4 of the Field of Soul, Mr. Cloud.
Yeah, I think I maybe had one. Most of the time when I was testing, I only ever had 2 Field of Soul out in ready to use. I mean, to me, it's basically it's a better. I'm trying to remember the cold snap orc shaman that puts a Graveborn on the battlefield whenever a non-token creature you control dies. Yeah, that guy. Is basically a less expensive version of that. And there are a lot of creatures in this set that have abilities that require you to sacrifice them, including, although not seen here in this set exploration, the Blood Pet. It's a 1/1 black 1-drop that says sacrifice it at a black to your mana pool.
But yeah, there's a lot of interesting things going on with the color pie in this set, to be perfectly honest. Green's fair play is very well explored, but terrible to play with. The color hate stuff that's spread throughout is actually really interesting to play with, so much so that I believe Choke and Boil are both banned in Commander. And even our legends, although are still relatively bad, I mean, Selenia is like the only playable legend here. There is Wrath that's here as well, but Wrath is also like entirely unplayable as a legend. There is interesting stuff to play in with the set, to be perfectly honest, but I wasn't comfortable playing with it because fair play is not something that ever actually works in Magic. Giving your opponent free resources before you get a chance to use it is fucking terrible. And yeah, that's a lot of what the green fair play stuff ends up doing. So,
Nice to level the playing field for everybody.
Yeah, Tempest honestly is probably a really fun set to play in for Commander. I just don't think that there are enough good legendaries for you to do it limited style for Commander stuff. We do limited set explorations because it allows us to really dive into the sets, pull out what we really want to use from it, and try and build around it. But Commander would not really work for this set. It's big. It's definitely big enough, but you end up with a lot of stuff that you really don't want to have in it. Especially a majority of the 1-drops. A majority of the 1-drops are just 1/1s with sacrifice triggers on them, and it's like, no, I do not want this. No, this is bad.
Well, I mean, sometimes they do good things, 1/1 with sacrifice triggers.
Sometimes they do, but there's not all that many aristocrat bonuses going around, to be perfectly honest. I think Field of Souls is actually one of the only good aristocrat bonuses that's here. So,
What I like about this set in general is because of how early this is one of the earliest sets that we've done for Rocket Rabbit.
Yeah.
That you could see the direction the game was going in as far as granting sometimes explosive amounts of power creep to players. Like, I don't even know if Ancient Tomb is legal. The land that you add 2 to your mana pool, but you take 2 damage. That's a pretty severe.
In Commander, it specifically was legal for a long damn time. I think it might have gotten limited. It might have gotten hit recently, but that would have been in the more recent hits that everyone that and that they ended up dissolving the Commander Rules Committee over because. I know that Crypt got hit. I don't remember if Tomb did, though.
Well, it just goes to show what having the right amount of mana at the right time can do to your game.
Yes.
Another thing that was glaringly absent from this matchup that we had, because I was playing Orzhov, was the shadow keyword.
Which is weird because green and white actually interact with shadow in negative ways a lot in this set, to be perfectly honest. But as I was going through, I didn't actually see any creatures with shadow.
That's because they were mostly white colored.
Okay.
The Soltari make a strong presence in this set, and I could see what they were trying to do. Like, okay, I get it. I'm running white, so I'm supposed to be running a bunch of creatures with shadow and a bunch of creatures with flying. But then I realized, well, doesn't that just write my ending for me? Is I'm just going to be hitting my opponent with creatures that can't be blocked, and what's the fun in that? Like, you tried. That's something that players in the modern game strive to do, but it strikes a theme. Considering we're looking at the Heartwood Treefolk that has Forest Walk, or Commander Griffin Elvek who has Fear, that they want to impress on the player how important it is that you compromise your opponent's ability to block your attacking creatures, both so that your creatures will survive and that the game will end pretty quickly. It's a well-established win con in Magic the Gathering is flying wins.
It's very similar to red deck wins, except it's white-blue instead of red.
Right. And meanwhile, there are some cards that largely fell out of use, like a blue instant spell that says target creature gains shadow until end of turn, and you draw a card. So it has a twofold function of it lets your creature become unblockable for the rest of the turn, or you can set up a blocker because only another creature with shadow can block a creature with shadow.
Right.
Well, we found that because shadow, thankfully, I think, in my opinion, has fallen by the wayside in order to bring on other conditions that limit your opponent's ability to block creatures like menace,
fear,
or must be blocked by at least 3 creatures, or fear, intimidate, or just plain unblockability, like blue tends to do to an extreme. Please that Skulk. Shadow is no longer really a thing, and Skulk, yep, and others too. Watch out for those words that say cannot be blocked, because you may be looking at a win condition.
But this was fun. I would recommend doing some limited Tempest exploration on your own. Just don't faint at the sight of some of the really powerful cards that are here, because even though we're not actually running them, it's mostly because we went into this knowing what we were going up against. So if either of us were running blue, the other opponent would have had to have run Boils, and that is not a fun game state for pretty much anybody, because then it goes from a turn 4, hey, the board's relatively even, to I lost, and
right.
That's just how that goes.
Like, oh, I'm going to pay 5. Pay 5 for the Screw Your Opponent sorcery. When I cast Screw Your Opponent, select a target opponent. Target opponent puts their library in their graveyard.
For the record, Boil is even more powerful than that because it destroys all islands. So,
well, I mean, islands on the battlefield.
Yeah, all islands on the battlefield.
Right. Play nice, everybody.
Yeah. Alright, everyone. This has been us doing a Magic the Gathering set exploration. Next time it'll be my turn to pick. I'll probably end up picking a more modern one, or we'll do something crazy and wacky, because I'm going on vacation, so I have time to think about things.
We love crazy and wacky. Vacation's all I ever wanted. Gives me time to think of the set I want to play. Vacation's all I ever wanted.
Alright, everyone. Be safe.
Thank you very much for watching. Riker Commentaries explores Tempest.